Hey guys, Dr. Weimer here again. Going to give you version 2 of your warm-up. So if the field's wet or you don't feel like getting down on the ground, this is going to be similar to the workout that we did last Friday, okay? So first thing we're going to start doing is our shoulder controlled articular rotations. Start with the thumb forward, slowly bringing the arm up as high as you can. Once you hit that end range here, flip the hand backwards, rotating down and back. I want you getting 5 that direction, and then you're going to switch and go the other direction. Bringing it back and forward. Slow and controlled. Really feel these muscles around your shoulders starting to activate. Switch arms. Do this on both sides. After you go through the controlled articulations in the shoulder, we're going to do a little hip hinge, bending at the waist, letting the arm hang down in front. We're just doing some arm circles here, shoulder pendulum. Just trying to feel that arm loosen up a little bit. 10 one direction, 10 back the other, and then switch sides and do the same thing on the other arm. Alright, now we're going to get into a little bit of a combo move here where we're still working on that hip hinge. So I really want you feeling your feet in contact with the ground. Maybe a little turn lightly into the ground with your feet, twisting outwards. Hinge at the hips. Bending at the knee, keep the back nice and flat. Then from here, we're going to go arms at the side, bringing them up and over, coming back down, up and over. You're going to do 5 one direction, and then we're going to go 5 back the other. So we're here. Just try to feel those muscles on the back side of your shoulders start to engage. Feel the hips starting to open up a little bit. Now that your shoulders are starting to loosen up a little bit, we're going to try to combine a little bit of rotation through the upper back or your thoracic spine. Really great for throwing, twisting, turning, hitting, and then also continuing to work on that hip hinge. So what that's going to look like is pushing the hips back. You're going to let the hands come down to the ground. We're going to do a windmill, turning and opening up. Really try to push those hands apart from each other, spreading the fingers wide, reaching up towards the ceiling, staying in contact with the ground. 1 or 2 good breaths in each position, and then rotate back to the other side. Really focus on pushing those shoulder blades apart. We're getting all of this rotation through the mid-back. You're going to do 5 each direction or 10 total reps on the windmill. Okay guys, after the windmills, we're just going to do 10 good squats. So get into a natural squat stance, toes maybe pointed slightly out. Slow and controlled, 10 good squats. Just trying to get deep. If you feel like it, you can sit into that squat for a breath or 2 and then stand back up. Just trying to open up the hips and get you used to hinging and squatting a little bit. Alright, next guys, we're going to get into a little combo stretch for the legs. Working a lunge, getting the hamstrings, working on the hip flexors a little bit. So you're going to just do this one on both sides, and I want 5 reps on each leg. So 1 whole rep is going to consist of this sequence. You're getting down into a little bit of a lunge. You can push it a little bit here, but the main thing we're focusing on is rotating, opening up towards the sky, push the hand up towards the sky, open up those fingers, and then rotate back the other way. Then from here, you're going to sit back into a little bit of a deep hamstring stretch. Back down, open it up into a hip flexor stretch. If you want to make it more intense, reach back towards that ankle and extend back a little bit more. You're going to switch sides. Like I said, 5 reps on each leg. All right, now we're moving back up to a standing position, and we're going to work some more single leg stance here. We call this a single leg deadlift or an airplane, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be balancing on one leg, really focusing on keeping the back flat and hinging through the hips. You can have arms out to the side, arms here. You could be reaching up overhead. Main thing, keeping your balance, alternate legs, and back up. 5 to 10 reps on each leg with this one, however much time you guys have. Alright, we're going to finish up the mobility routine, getting back into the shoulder a little bit. So if you guys are using bands, you can attach it onto the fence and get into this either half kneeling position or a standing position, okay? I like the half kneeling so you can open up the hip a little bit while you're here. We're going to keep that arm into a position similar to throwing. We're going to go slow and controlled, forwards and backwards, working external rotation here. We're going to do about 10 reps on this. If you don't have the band, what you can do is just get into this position like we did at practice last week, slow and controlled, pushing it as far as you can, getting about 5 seconds per rep, and then let it come back down, and you can go all the way into internal rotation as well. Now, if you're using the bands, we're just gonna swap sides here, face away from the fence, and work this isolated motion. Notice that my elbow is staying at or in line with the shoulder or slightly above. Same thing, slow and controlled here. If you don't have the bands, just go through some slow controlled arm movements, pushing it at the end range, but not to a painful point. Now that the mobility movement prep portion is done, we're going to get into a little bit of dynamic movement or getting the legs warmed up with some calisthenics. So the first thing that we're going to do is just a side shuffle or some lateral movement. I want you doing base to base, so first to second base, second to third, whatever side of the field you're on. We're just going to be doing lateral movement here. Really try to sink down into a low squat, feel the hips open up, work on moving laterally. You're going to do down and back once with this. After you do your base down and back lateral movement, we're going to work in some karaoke, okay? Same thing, we're going to do base to base here, try to get the legs warmed up, really make sure you're crossing over, creating some opening and some rotation through the hips here, step back, open up again. Slow and controlled with this, really pay attention to the hips, quicker is not better. Alright guys, now we're going to start moving backwards a little bit. So we're going to get into a back pedal. I think we did this at practice last week. I want 4 steps or 2 each leg in a nice low back pedal. And then going one direction, you're going to open up towards your right hip, turn, jog through the line. When you come back the other way, we're doing the same thing. 2 back pedals, open up and turn. Really focus on getting those hips open, getting a good turn, and then running through the line. Now guys, we're going to start moving forwards a little bit, just getting into like a 50 to 75% run. We're going to run down through the base, and then I want you back pedaling back. Next time, you're going to run just a little bit harder, so if you were at 50%, bump it up to about 75, run through the bag, back pedal back. After the 50 to 75% jog down and back pedal back, we're going to get into some power skips. So we did this at practice the other day, but I want you focusing on getting height and length. So we're here, pushing up, soft landing, and then we're going to switch to the other leg. We're going to go down and back. Alright, last portion of the warm-up here is just going to be a build-up similar to your sprint workouts that we did. Base to base, you're going to be starting closer to that 70-75% range. By the time you get through the base, I want you up to 100%. We're going to do 1 time down, 1 time back, and then you guys will be ready to throw.